and it's entitled How Many Apples in the Sea?
Yeah, how many apples are there in the sea?
Yeah,
It's,
okay,
it's,
more or
a,
less.
it's a question.
Question mark. Excellent.
Question mark.
Hand up to you, Paul.
Woo!
Well, fellow Toastmasters, I thought I would bring this out tonight. This apple. Because I have a question for you. How many seeds do you reckon are there in this apple? Anybody? Can you just shout out for me?
6,
8.
10.
12,
10. Somebody said 12. 6.
5.
Alright, let's just end this betting game here because we won't truly find out
You're not counting.
unless I cut this apple into half, right? And I've not had my lunch today, so I'm very, very tempted to do it right now, but let's just keep it to the end. I'll put it in my pocket. I want you to remember about this apple. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, instead, let me take you back to 2017. I'm sat in the back of the class at the pharmacy event, Stopford Building, outside of Oxford Road, where the main campus of the University of Manchester is. I'm sat there listening to this powerful and incredibly strong woman. She's talking about all the wonderful things that she does with her pharmacy degree. She has just initiated her Black Pharmacist group to support pharmacy students at the University of Manchester. Then, at the same time, she was doing a placement at a top 4 law firms. And then, she was competing at this dance competition for the University of Manchester. And I was sat there at the back of the class thinking to myself, who is this woman? She's got so much power and so much ambition in her. And I can barely introduce myself in front of everybody. So I sat there for a second. And then, I stood up. I went up to her and I said, Madam, regardless where you're going, I'm going to go with you. She said, no worries, Paul Donald. Why don't you come to our law event? I said, wait, but I'm not sure if I've got it. I'm not as well spoken, I'm not as charismatic as you are. Like, what am I going to do there? At the end of the day, I'm a pharmacist. She goes, don't worry, I'll help you with the application, win-win. And I ended up coming to London. So I came up with this tactic. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to come 10 minutes late. Let's call it African time. I'm going to come 10, 15 minutes late. I'm going to enter from the back of the room. I'm going to be dressed nicely. Best shoes, best suit. I'm going to come from the back, enter into the room, go all the way to the front and take a seat. Because I knew if I was 10 minutes late, everybody will be looking at me, thinking this guy must be somebody. He must be important if he's coming late. So here I am in London, entering the room, 10 minutes late, dressed sharply, knocking on the door, dun 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 dun. The lady sticks her head out. She said, "You're late. You're not getting in." Wait in the corridor. Alright, here I am, sat in the corridor, waiting for them to come out. After about an hour, they come out. They're all in a circle, talking about some law, complicated, difficult things, law case studies. And there was one chap looking like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Have you all seen that movie before? And he is the smartest guy out there. And I'm there in the circle, trying to look important, listening to what they're saying. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, do I really belong? Because all those people are so smart, but I'm the only pharmacy student out there not knowing what is going on. But in that moment, fellow Toastmasters, the important thing happened. My belief barrier is broken. Because whilst I was there listening to Dr. Emmett Brown talking about all the complicated law things, I realized that I was the only pharmacy student out there. I said to myself, that's not too bad, Paul Donald. Because maybe last week, you didn't think you could go to a networking event, whilst now you're in a room with the smartest people out there in London, and you're not even doing law. So I went on this quest afterwards, going to many different events across the UK. And fast forward 3 years, there was one particular event that I went to. It was March 2021. It was a YouTube event. Because now I'm a seasoned networker, I go from one event to another, and I'm sat there next to a chap. He complimented my height, he complimented my hair. I mean, back in the day, those were the glory days. And he shakes my hand, and I shake his hand. And I say, hi, my name is He says, I know where you need to be. I said, what? He said, you need to come to our public speaking club. I said, wait a minute, public speaking club? Does that really exist? I didn't even know before. He says, yes, come to Manchester Communicators. And that's how my journey started in this club, fellow Toastmasters. Fast forward 3.5 years. Not only am I a proud member of this club, but I'm also the UK and Ireland champion of Toastmasters 2024. Now, do you all remember the apple? Yes. Let me take this apple out. Ask you a question. How many seeds are there in the apple? We don't know. Unless we cut this apple into half. Okay, let's do this. I'll try and do this. I didn't rehearse this part, by the way. So we're about to find out. Ooh, it's juicy. Oops. Okay. Let's say none. I mean, it looks like none. But let's just pretend there's 1 or 2 seeds in there, right? Now, I have a better question for you, Lord. How many apples do you reckon are there in the seed?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. We don't know. Is that right?
Yeah.
Unless we plant that seed. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I realize that whilst we go about our lives, meeting different people, going from one networking event to another, going from one function to another, going from one wedding to another, we plant seeds. But the beauty about that is that we never know what that seed is going to grow into. You see, back in 2017, I planted the seed in the land of pharmacy, which is far away from the land of Toastmasters. But little did I know back then that 7 years later, I'll find myself in Toastmasters becoming the UK champion. So my point to you is this. Whilst you're out there meeting new people, planting seeds, remember, every seed you plant can grow in a limited number of apples. Back to you, Toastmaster.